I did not want to be a Keith Moon or a John Bonham, just a rock and roll casualty.
Can you remember your first meeting with the Alcoholics Anonymous Association?
Of course, I remember it vividly. It was about 9 years ago this week, actually. Yeah, I just celebrated 9 years of sobriety, and I had been drinking and drugging for 15 or 20 years without a single day sober. I mean, literally every day, and tried to quit hundreds of times, and always said, I'm never going to drink again. I'm going out on tour, I'm not going to drink on this tour, and sure enough, come nighttime, I could never say no, never resist. And we had just finished up a tour in Europe, coincidentally ending on my birthday, which was the last drink I ever had in 2000. And I went home and saw 2 doctors the next day, both of whom said, if you keep drinking and drugging like you do, you won't reach the age of 40. And I had my second child was just born, and that scared the crap out of me, because I did not want to be a Keith Moon or a John Bonham, just a rock and roll casualty. And I said, you know what? I got to get myself to a meeting, and both doctors said, here's a schedule, get yourself to an AA meeting. And I went and haven't picked up a drink ever since.
Was it a hard, what was the first, maybe maybe just another question, the last drink, what memories do you have of your last drink? Was it?
My last drink was very unceremonial. If I would have known it was going to be my last drink, I would have gone out with a bigger bender. It was the last night on tour. It was my birthday. Spock's Beard was opening for us, and I was drinking with them. Always I would drink with the opening band or Dream Theater's crew, because none of the Dream Theater guys were never big drinkers. So I was always with the opening bands or the crew. And I remember drinking and partying with Spock's Beard that night to celebrate the end of the tour. And that was the last night I drank. The next day I got on a plane, went home, and got sober. But a couple nights before the end of the tour, I traveled on Spock's Beard's bus, and we tore it up with every drink and drug in the book, and it was one of those nights. But that was my last big bender.
But did your band members already maybe pointed at you at some point that they say you really have to be aware of what you're doing?
Yeah, but I was always very responsible. I would never drink or drug, in the studio while I was working. It was always at the end of the night.
Maybe you have
fucking Dutch.
Yeah.
See, they're partying right now. My drinking was always, when it came to the band, I always tried to be responsible. I wouldn't start drinking till after the show. And then as time went on, it would be, okay, well, maybe I'll have a couple drinks before the encore. And then it'd start to get earlier. Okay, maybe I could start drinking during the keyboard solo. And then I would start drinking before we went on, and then before the opening band. The next thing I knew, by the end of my drinking career, I was fucked up on stage every night, and I'd be coming off stage with a bottle of Jack Daniels, and I'd be doing lines behind the drum set, during the show, and I knew it was out of hand. And the rest of the guys in the band, they never really confronted me, but I didn't have to be confronted. I could look in the mirror and see what I was doing.
But did you at the time, maybe when you were starting these meetings, was it true that somebody advised you to get in to make it a creative process? This whole
no. Well, that's why I don't call these series of songs I've written. I don't call them AA songs. In fact, the fans do, but I don't. To me, it's a 12-step song. AA means Alcoholics Anonymous, so it's supposed to be anonymous. You're not supposed to be, out glamorizing it or whatever. So to me, I've had no problem talking about it and discussing it and writing about it because the process of recovery has been a big thing in my life. So I've had no problem sharing it, but I never try to preach it. I've never preached sobriety. I've never preached the way that AA is run, or to me it's just about the 12 steps, which is it starts with getting sober, but it really, when you get deeper into the steps, it's more about just being a better person, living life and looking at yourself and looking at the way you treat people, and that's what the 12 steps is really about. It just starts with getting sober.